Hi, good morning, YouTube. Um, as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate the support, you guys. Um, Eventually, I'll learn how to edit, but it's not today. So today, though, I am super excited because I get to talk about a lot of my favorite things. Today, I am going to be featuring a mix by Sheerluck Ohms. Um, Sheerluck Ohms is Liam Davey. Liam Davey has done flavor notes, the most amazing flavor notes for all the VTA. Well, I can't say all, but for 90% of the VTA flavors. I'm a huge fan. Okay, I am Liam's fan in a big way, and he's my friend. Okay, so there's a little bit of backstory. When I was new last year, uh, January maybe of this year, I had moved on from just copying Wayne's recipes, right? And I was ready to try new things on my own, but I didn't know how. Right? Because you don't know immediately what's going to work and what's not going to work. And it's hard to make that leap from only making other people's recipes to making your own, right? Well, that's about the time that I met Liam, okay? And we got to be friends talking about the VTA concentrates. When I was new, VTA was new. They were not even available in the United States. I had to go to Chef's for everything I wanted with VTA. And I wanted them all because the few that people were talking about, they were saying good things. And then Liam starts putting out these flavor notes talking about the VTA flavors, right? And when you got the flavor fever, you got it anyway, right? You're going to get them. But it really helps to know more about the flavors, okay? And I do want to tell you that you can find his flavor notes pinned in like all the groups in Facebook because nobody's going to reject that kind of information. Um, you can also find them on ELR. They're under Sheerluck_ohms, but they're also under the Vaping Scribe. Okay. I highly recommend you follow Sheerluck Ohms, and I'm going to give you m- multiple reasons why you should be following this guy. Okay. The recipe I'm going to talk about today is called Posh bread and butter pudding. Liam's from the UK. He's from Wales, I believe. I am not. I am not. So I like to try the food from other countries in vape form because I I'm not going to go there. Okay, realistically, when I look at my life, travel isn't something I'm ever going to get to do. Um, but I can get a feel for the way people eat or what they think is good in other countries via vape, right? So I do. Any kind of weird other country food, I'm going to try that shit and I'm going to see if I like it because, in a perfect world, single moms could travel. In real life, not so much. Okay. I get to travel to Walmart. Anywho, so I have to look these things up. And I looked up the Posh bread and butter pudding. And naturally, my my link died. So my bad. So I looked it up. Okay. Bread and butter pudding is like croissant with custard and vanilla, and sometimes they put all kind of custard and vanilla and sultanas, which I looked that up too, and those are raisins or like raisins. Okay, we don't have those here. Um, so it's a mild custard and it's cooked in the oven. It's like in a pan with water all around the pan to make it gel. Okay, so it's not it's not like pudding, right? So anyway, let me share my screen and let's see what Liam did. Okay. Now I want you guys to bear in mind that when I learned how to mix talking to Liam about flavors and you know using his recipes to practice on. In the very beginning, like I said, when I was trying to go from trying to make the leap from mixing your recipes to mixing my own recipes, okay, what I would do is I would grab one of Liam's recipes because I knew they were rock solid. And Tam Babes, shout out to Tam Babes, because I have done all kinds of terrible things to their recipes in the name of learning. So big shout out to Sheerluck_ohms, Liam Davey, and a big shout out to Tam Babes, okay? Because not only did they encourage me to hack their recipes up, they would suggest different things. You know, I would tell them what I had, and they would help me decide how I could make their recipe without having to buy any flavors, okay? And I appreciate that because learning how things work together and why. The biggest, most important thing that Liam and Tammy did for me was to tell me why they chose a certain flavor and why it worked. Okay. So every time I mixed a recipe by Liam, it was a school day. Right. And I'm going to talk about several recipes because he's a great mixer. Not enough people know. And I think it's important, you know, to get that out there. So let's talk about the Posh bread and butter pudding. Okay. Now that we know what it is, right? I've been vaping on this. I vaped on it all day yesterday and all day today so far. I've got a single coil recurve with a 0.25 fuse Clapton coil on it. Vaping at about 45 watts. I rewicked yesterday. So it's okay. So it's, man, this is good. Okay. So the bread base is the VTA croissant. Huge fan. I love VTA croissant. You can do so much with that flavor. If you want to make any kind of Danish or pastry, man, get you some VTA croissant because, mwah. He's also got the VTA creme brulee. Now he ran them up both pretty high, and I can with the croissant. With the croissant, you want that breadiness to come out. Okay, that's why he's got the FA Joy in there too, is to give some more of that yeasty flavor of bread. Okay, but not too much. But you know that's what the Joy and the croissant are doing. They're giving you your bread flavor. Okay, and then he chose the eggy FA custard premium. I like that flavor. It's a quick steeper. It tastes eggy. It's not super duper fake eggy and vanilla-y like Cap V1. Man, I'm sorry. I just don't care for Cap V1. I'll mix your recipe if it's got it in there, but please, for the love of God, don't go over 4%. Sorry. And then CCW Dub and Cream. CCW Dub and Cream. You can get it at chefsflavors.co.uk. Okay, you need it. Just go ahead and get 100 mil. You need it. It's a dark, rich cream. It's got a lot of vanilla notes to it. It's fantastic. Okay, it is fantastic. Anyway, I'm sorry, I lost track. But we're the custard that he built here is with the custard premium, the creme brulee, the honeycomb. Okay, that honeycomb's going to thicken it up and sweeten it up. He's got that eggy custard, and the creme brulee, VTA creme brulee, is very good. I would say it's maybe not quite as concentrated as the Inawera, but it's a great flavor. Okay, I feel like I have to use it a little bit higher than I would the Inawera. He's got it at 4%. It's added to his custard base, and it's giving him that sugar carameliness. Okay, the sugar carameliness in that goes with the Devon cream, and then both of those work with the rum and raisin. Okay, now the rum and raisin, it's a pretty good flavor. I have it. I've used it. In fact, I subbed it into one of Liam's other recipes that we're going to talk about. Okay. Anywho, it's good flavor. The alcohol notes there, you know, it's got some dark fruitiness to it. That's the raisin. You know, the way that rum works with the carameliness of the sugar and the Devon cream, you know, This is a beautifully balanced recipe. I get the bread. I get the custard. I get a little dark fruitiness. The problem with raisin is there just isn't really. I haven't found a good one yet. Okay. Um, this is an excellent recipe. And I will 100% be making it again. Um, I highly recommend it. Okay. It works. Now, the only problem with this recipe, the only problem, it's not really a problem, but it's a thing. It's a steeper. 30 days. I only made 30 mil and I'm bummed because I'm going to run out today or tomorrow and then I got to wait another 30 days. So 100% make this, make it, make a big bottle, make a bigger bottle than you think you're going to need because it's fire. Okay. It is fire. Um, so in fact, right after I finish the video, I'm probably going to mix 100 mil of it just so that in a month, Christmas time, Christmas present to me. Now, I mentioned using the rum and raisin, the VTA, in another of Liam's recipes, and I sure do want to highlight that recipe. It's the rice pudding swirl. By the way, that 5-star rating on the DIY Posh bread and butter pudding, I gave him that. It's that good. You need to mix it, okay? This rice pudding swirl. Now, ordinarily, people, I'm not even going to lie to you. Ordinarily, when I'm mixing a recipe, if it's got more than, say, 8 concentrates, I peace out, okay? I do. I'm sorry. That's a character flaw, right? Excuse me. Well, I'm glad I didn't hear. This recipe tastes like rice pudding with a strawberry swirl, a swirl strawberry jam on top. It's excellent. Um, I, I I made this almost as as soon as he posted the recipe. It is that good. I of course had to buy flavors, but it's worth buying flavors for. That cinnamon sugar, I had to buy that. I remember, and it was right before I got my big bottle of CCW Devon Cream. All right, um, it sure was. I bought a big bottle. Check this out. I bought a big bottle of CCW Devon Cream because I didn't ever expect to make another chef's order again. So the irony there is I love chefs. I will order from chefs over an American supplier just because they're cool peeps. Anywho, so I'm not going to go through this recipe with you, but you need to be aware of it. Okay, if you like a desserty, fruity vape that's well blended and with great mouthfeel, I 100% recommend this recipe. It is fantastic. Okay, now there's another recipe I want to talk to you guys about too, and Liam's probably going to kill me. But sugar lips, it is the first recipe Liam put out for everyone to check out. Okay, from this recipe, I learned how to layer raspberry and make it taste good. I learned how fruits work together a lot from this recipe. You can take the raspberries out, plug in the blueberry trinity. Got a good blueberry vape. You can do that with almost any fruit here. When I made sugar lips, I prefer to use the Flavor West Pink Champagne. I think it adds a sweetness to it. But this is a recipe that it's got a good raspberry flavor to it. It's sweet. It's creamy. Um, it's a raspberry vape. So whenever I see somebody out there asking me, "Oh, can you recommend a good raspberry vape?" This is one that I'm going to link every time. Um, just mixing it up, I learned a lot about how fruits work. Okay, it's also a quick steeper, so shake and bake people, go to town. Um, and then sometimes Liam likes to get weird. And these are all recipes, by the way, that I've personally tried and I've rated on ELR. And I have no problems whatsoever recommending them to you. Okay, so lavender blueberry ice cream. It is weird, man. It is weird, but it is weird in a good way. Okay, it's thick and it's rich, and there's all the ice cream mouthfeel, and you guys can add cooling to it if you want to, but I did not. Okay, there's a lot of rich vanilla in there. Okay, the everybody knows Liquid Barn's the best vanilla ice cream, but it's thick and it's rich and it's super vanilla-y, and it mixes with that TPA Vbic, so it's full and it's a rounded ice cream, and it's a good ice cream base. Throws in the meringue to add some sweetness to it. Okay, and then you'll see um, the the well, you see how he's got the blueberries layered. That bilberry ripe from BTA, in my experience, you can sub that in and out with the FA bilberry. They're both delicious. I think the bilberry ripe's just a little bit fresher. And you see how he used it high here? Okay. I would normally not use a bilberry at 2%, but pay close attention to how he did that. Okay. Because that's a strong, dark blueberry. Okay. Strong. I mean, that's basically what you get with a bilberry is a dark berry to back up your regular blueberries, right? And then he chose the TPA Blueberry Extra, again at 2%, okay, to blend in with that dark bilberry. And then he's got the VTA Blueberry Milkshake. Now, I think that was a really interesting choice. I think it was a really interesting choice. And it does a lot to blend the bilberry, the blueberry, and the lavender together with the creams. I think that was very smart of him. That lavender, the way the lavender works is it makes, you know how kind of sweet and kind of candy-ish blueberry extra is, and the bilberry is dark, kind of a candier, syrupier berry as well, right? The lavender mixes with those, and it comes out tasting like a wild blueberries that you picked off the bush. It's weird. It's like you're outside. It's like when you're vaping this recipe. I swear to you, this is true, and I'm so far from imaginative. When you're vaping this recipe, it is like you're out in the woods vaping the recipe. You know what I mean? You get that instant transportation in your mind when you vape that lavender. It's it's weird, man, but it's good. It's a good weird. I need to mix this again. I got in the habit of only mixing 30 mils, and I'm kind of sad now because uh, I wonder how this would be after 6 months. But it's well worth picking up the lavender. It is well worth trying this to see how those flavors work together. He's got some really interesting stuff going on in this recipe. I tried it, I vaped it, I liked it. Um, it's a good way to get into mixing florals if that's your thing. Okay. So I want to make sure that I tell you guys, where you can find Liam. He's an admin in the Chef's Flavors group. He's an admin in the Vaping Home Mixers group. Okay. He is Sheerluck_ohms on ELR and also the Vaping Scribe. So don't be fooled when you see those flavor notes. And you can trust his flavor notes. Well, I've found that generally with Liam's flavor notes, when I compare what I taste to what he tastes, it's spot on. So for me, I follow him like crazy because he's getting the same notes that I'm getting off flavors, and it makes it easier to for me to jump in and not have to do the single flavor testing. So shout out to not doing single flavor testing, right? So also, Liam has one shots available under Vaping Home Mixers at Chef's. Okay. He's got the Sugar Lips, he's got a dark berry cider, and he's got the rice pudding swirl. I 100%, I probably forgot one too. I 100% recommend them. Vaping Home Mixers, what they do is they, cool people, by the way, they create the one shots, and then it's nonprofit. It's nonprofit. They're helping Liam get his name out there. Well, not just Liam, but there are a lot of great talented mixers in vaping home mixers, and maybe I'll ask them if I can review some of their recipes. But everyone's heard about them. So, anywho, um, Sheerlock_ohms, 100% recommend. Give his recipes a try. Don't be afraid to go a little bit weird with it, because he's going to make it work. He's not going to publish a recipe that he's not 100% sure that works. So I have the utmost faith. Anyway, you guys, if you want to submit a recipe for review, email me at recipes.hibitarray@gmail.com, and I will get your recipe mixed and reviewed as quick as I can. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.